In the end, all the questions, it's just mind. And in the end, all that's left is it's the cosmic joke. At one point, these questions seem so important, and getting the answers seems so important. Because there's the assumption there that there is a questioner. There's someone looking for answers. When it's seen that there's no one there, and there's no one there asking, then there's no need for answers. All questions are just statements about what you already know. A question is simply a statement with a question mark on the end. A question is a statement about what you already know. It's an expression of the assumptions you already have. So read the first question.
Once the ego has gone...
Okay, so stop. Once the ego has gone, what's assumed there? It's an event in time.
That's right.
There is an ego. An event in time happens. After the event, there is no ego. And look at the whole network of assumptions already in that statement. It's not... and then the question goes on. Well, what's the rest?
Once the ego is gone, will there be just a spontaneous flow of the universe manifesting?
Manifesting.
Manifesting.
Manifestating.
Oh yeah. Can't even read my own writing.
So the question collapses under its own weight. In the light of this seeing, no question can survive. Because no assumption can survive. And the question is just a collection of assumptions with a question mark on the end. So the assumptions are exposed in this clarity. And then there's no question left. So no answer is needed. So we think, we ask a question, we assume there's an answer that can be found in time. We go around the world asking every teacher, every teacher we can find, we ask the same question. They'll give us various different answers. And these answers just add to the pile of assumptions that are already there. The pile of assumptions becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. With all the answers that we get just feed the pile of assumptions, which then expresses itself as the next question and the next question. So a question is an expression of the assumptions that are already there, masquerading as a question, pretending that there's an answer. So when the assumptions are exposed, when they're seen for what they are, the assumptions are just concepts, thoughts. Then there's no question, and so there's no answer. So we think we're looking for the answer. We say, I am a questioner looking for the answer to my question. Once I get the answer, then there will be clarity. If I can just get the answer to this question, and we can become better and better at asking questions. Even say, imagine you could formulate. Imagine you could formulate the ultimate question. This is what we do. This is what we do as seekers. We have our one question. If we can just get the answer to this one question, then we'll be free. You know, just this one question, then we'll be free. Imagine if you could formulate the ultimate question. And then you know, if once you get the answer to this question, you will be free. And you go around the world, you try all the various gurus and teachers until eventually you find what you think is, who you think is the ultimate teacher. Seeing that the question is the questioner. The question is not separate from the questioner. The question is the assumption of, the question is identical with the assumption of the one who asked the question. And the one who asked the question, the questioner, is just the collection of assumptions, you see. So the question that emerges from the apparent questioner is just an expression of those assumptions. So we keep asking questions so we can keep being a questioner. You know, to end the questions would be to end the questioner. To end the questions would be to end the one who asked the questions. So we don't really want the ultimate answer. You see, we don't really want the end of our questions, because that would mean the end of the questioner. And the questioner it's his job to keep himself alive. He's so invested in keeping himself going. The identity has to maintain itself. So we just play this game of pretending we have questions. All questions are second-hand questions. They're not really your questions. You don't have any questions. What you are doesn't have any questions. It's beyond all questions. These are questions we've picked up because they're assumptions that we've picked up. So we pretend to ask questions and we receive pretend answers. We ask dream questions and receive dream answers, and the dream answers just fuel the questioning. So there's no questioner. There never was a questioner. So there's no questions. So there's no answers. This isn't just a language game. That's what it sounds like when you talk about it. Oh, you're just playing with words. And yeah, in a sense, we are just playing with words. That's all we can do is play. We play with words, but it's about what the words are pointing to, which is always beyond words. This clarity can't be put into words. It can't be found through language, because it's that in which language appears. It's that in which words appear, and it's that in which questions appear and answers appear. It's that which holds the questions and the answers. So the game of questions and answers plays itself out in this clarity, which isn't touched by the questions or the answers. It doesn't need the answers, doesn't need the questions, doesn't reject the questions, doesn't reject the answers. So ultimately, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. That's what we do. What we don't see is that the answer, it's there. If there is any answer, the answer is there in the very asking of the questions. Every question contains its own answer. The answer to any question is the seeing through. The real answer to any question, not the dream answer. The real answer is the falling away of the question, which means the exposure, the exposing of the assumptions behind the question. That's the real answer. The real answer is literally there in the question. That's what we mean. That's what I mean when I say the answer is in the question, literally. The real answer, the answer that you don't want to hear. The questioner has no interest in seeing that. He wants to maintain himself as a questioner, as a seeker. The seeker has no interest in being exposed. Yeah. But as we were saying before, the miracle is that the questioner, the seeker, can be exposed. That's the miracle, but not through getting answers to your questions. So really, that's what I mean when I say it really does all end in laughter. It ends in cosmic laughter. The play of it, you know, and it's a play. It's a dance. It's a dance of questions and answers. Pretending you have questions, pretending you need answers, pretending you don't already have all the answers you need. You know, I mean, for how long will you seek answers? How long? How long? For how long will you ask these questions? How many gurus, how many teachers will you ask these questions to before you realise there's no questioner, and that there's no one there who can? There's no one there who can realise there's no questioner there. The questioner can't realise it. You know, the seeker can't reach the non-existence of the seeker. The non-existence of the seeker is there from the beginning. You know. And ultimately, and this is where language disintegrates, but ultimately the seeker is simply an expression of the non-existence of the seeker. It's the non-existence of the seeker masquerading as a seeker, looking for the non-existence of the seeker. It's the absence of the seeker appearing as a seeker, looking for the absence of the seeker. Yeah. I mean that how can that be understood? What can you what can you possibly do with a statement like that? What can anyone possibly do with a statement like the absence of the seeker appears as a seeker, looking for the absence? What can you do with that?
There's just no comprehension. It's beyond words.
It's beyond comprehension.
It just comes to
silence.
You know, even myself, you know, listening to you, then, you know, it's like I feel the question of the seeker, the identity, whatever you want to call it, just trying to. Well, it can't go anywhere.
No.
It just doesn't.
There's nowhere to go.
But it can't comprehend even that there's nowhere to go. It doesn't make.
It can't comprehend because it's trying to comprehend.
Exactly.
The inability to comprehend is the attempt to comprehend. When there's no attempt to comprehend, there isn't even an inability to comprehend.
But you know, and it also feels as well that there is. It feels that there is such a strong. I mean, there's a strong identification with that. In my experience, it feels like.
Well, that's the game. That's the game. Yeah. There's identification. Can be strong identification as a seeker. Sorry. Until that identification is exposed. What's seen then is actually there is no seeker. There never was a seeker. There appears to be a seeker until it is seen that there is no seeker. There never was a seeker, and therefore, of course, there's no one there to see that there's no seeker. So it's not that the seeker sees there's no seeker. No one sees this. No one is here to see this.